Imagine facing every challenge in your life, not as a setback, but as a stepping stone toward becoming unstoppable. Sounds familiar? Maybe like another quote you scroll past. But here's the truth most people ignore. You're not struggling because life is unfair. You're struggling because you've been avoiding the very moments that could forget your strength. The discomfort you shy away from, the criticism you dread, the situations that bruise your pride. These are the fires the Stoics embraced, knowing that only through facing what scares you can your true power emerge. Pause for a moment, take a breath. Ask yourself, what truly matters today? The storms of life will come. People will push, deadlines will pile, chaos will surround you. But your focus, your calm, your choice, that's yours alone. Every reaction, every decision is a chance to practice mastery. Small steps, choosing patience, embracing discomfort, acting with clarity, compound into a life of resilience and purpose. So, stay here. Watch, learn, and commit. Subscribe, not for me, but for yourself, for growth, for meaning, and for becoming the person you are always meant to be. Your best day starts now. Are you ready to claim it? Number 1. Commit to daily growth. Growth isn't an accident. It doesn't fall from the sky, and it doesn't wait for when life feels convenient. Growth is deliberate. It is the choice you make every single day to confront yourself, your habits, your impulses, your distractions, and demand more. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire while fighting wars both outside and within, reminded himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That is growth distilled into a sentence. It begins not with the world, but with your perception, your response, your mind. Every morning, life hands you two paths: drift or build. Drifting is easy. Scroll, react, complain, repeat. But building, that requires awareness. It demands that you pause, reflect, and see yourself honestly. Growth starts with this self-reflection. Ask yourself, where did I waste time yesterday? Where did I react when I could have responded? What did I choose that weakened me rather than strengthened me? Without these questions, you're not living, you're sleepwalking. But awareness alone isn't enough. Growth requires friction. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Struggle is not your enemy. It's the training ground of your soul. Every setback, every insult, every failure is an invitation. Will you run from it, or will you wrestle with it until it forges you into something sharper, clearer, stronger? Picture yourself as iron. Left unused, you rust. But when placed in the fire, hammered and shaped, you become a blade. The fire is life's adversity. The hammer is discipline. Growth is the forging of character under heat and pressure. This is where the Stoics were unshakable. They didn't seek comfort, they sought clarity. Epictetus, born a slave, lived by the truth. No man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling your reactions to it. That mastery is earned in small, daily decisions. Choosing discipline over indulgence, reflection over distraction, effort over apathy. Growth is not always visible. Like roots spreading underground, much of it happens in silence. A moment of patience when anger surges, a decision to read instead of scroll, a quiet hour spent in thought rather than noise. These moments accumulate. Day by day, they construct a self that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Plato said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself." That is what daily growth is, a series of small victories over laziness, over impulse, over despair. You won't always win. But even in failure, growth whispers, "Try again." Each attempt, each effort is a step forward, however small. Imagine your life as a river. You cannot stop its flow. Time moves, events unfold, storms rise. But you are not helpless. You hold the oars. Growth is the practice of steering, not resisting the water, but directing your boat with intention. Without oars, you drift. With them, you command your path. Growth is never about perfection. It is about persistence, about showing up daily, especially when it feels pointless. The compounding effect of consistent action is invisible until one day you wake up different, stronger, calmer, wiser. That transformation doesn't arrive with fanfare. It arrives quietly, like dawn breaking over the horizon. Ask yourself at night, did I live today better than yesterday? If yes, growth has happened. If not, tomorrow offers another chance. The Stoics remind us that time is finite. Each day not used for growth is not neutral. It is lost. So, commit. Commit to reflection. Commit to struggle. Commit to the fire, the hammer, the shaping. Commit to the river, the oars, the direction. Commit to daily growth, not for applause, not for perfection, but because it is the only path to freedom, strength, and peace. Because the truth is simple. Growth is not optional. If you are not growing, you are decaying. If you are not building, you are drifting. If you are not conquering yourself, you are conquered. Commit today and tomorrow and the day after, until growth is not what you do, it's who you are. Number 2, micro-actions, major change. We often wait for big moments to transform our lives. A new job, a fresh start, the perfect chance. But life doesn't change in dramatic leaps. It changes in whispers, in choices so small you barely notice them. The Stoics understood this. Greatness is not built in a single day, but in daily acts that stack layer by layer into strength. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Think about that. A sculptor doesn't strike the marble once and reveal a masterpiece. It takes thousands of careful chisel marks. Your life works the same way. Every decision, every tiny action is a stroke shaping the person you are becoming. Here's the trap. Because small actions feel insignificant, we dismiss them. We skip one workout. We snap in anger. We waste a morning. It's nothing, we tell ourselves. But those nothings accumulate, just like raindrops fill an ocean. And soon our character, our habits, our destiny are formed by what we chose when it seemed not to matter. Imagine 2 paths. On one, you choose discipline, a page read, a walk taken, a pause before speaking. On the other, you choose neglect, distraction, indulgence, avoidance. At first, the difference is invisible, but stretch those paths out a year, 5 years, 10 years, and they are worlds apart. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one that's the essence of micro-action. Don't wait. Don't debate. Take the step. Act in the moment. Each small effort is a declaration. I am shaping myself. Challenges will come. Struggle will whisper, "What's the point?" But this is where philosophy becomes practice. Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Micro-actions reclaim that time. They transform waiting into doing, potential into progress. Picture a seed in the soil. It doesn't burst into a tree overnight. It grows silently, inch by inch, root by root, until one day it offers shade, fruit, and strength. Your habits are those seeds. What you water daily determines the forest of your future. So, here's your call. Start now and start small. Journal for 5 minutes. Breathe before you respond. Choose water over distraction. Trade complaint for gratitude. The power isn't in the size. It's in the consistency. Micro-actions, when done with intention, become major change. Step by step, you rewrite your story. Choice by choice, you rise into strength. And one day, you'll look back and realize the smallest steps were the ones that carried you the farthest. Number 3, liberate yourself from validation. Why do we crave the nod of approval? Why does a single compliment lift us up and a single criticism tear us down? The truth is, most of us live like prisoners, not behind iron bars, but behind the invisible chains of other people's opinions. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Validation is just another craving. No matter how much you collect, it never lasts. One day you're praised, the next you're forgotten. One moment you're admired, the next you're criticized. If your worth depends on applause, then you've handed your freedom to the crowd. Imagine living like a leaf in the wind, pulled one way by flattery, blown another by rejection. That's what dependence on validation feels like. The Stoic path asks something different: to grow roots instead of wings, to be like a tree, grounded, steady, alive not because others admire it, but because it draws strength from within. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the approval of the crowd is worthless. The applause of the few is fleeting. What matters is the approval of your own mind. That's the shift. True growth isn't in being liked, it's in being aligned with your principles, your effort, your truth. Of course, this isn't easy. The human mind hungers for recognition, but hunger is not the same as nourishment. The world's validation is like sugar, sweet, addictive, but empty. Real sustenance comes from self-respect, from knowing you showed up with discipline when it was hard, from choosing integrity over convenience, from living a life that would make your future self nod in quiet pride. So how do you practice this liberation? Start small. The next time you achieve something, resist the urge to announce it for applause. Sit with it. Feel its weight. Let your satisfaction be private, internal. When criticized unfairly, instead of defending yourself frantically, pause. Ask, does this align with who I am? If not, let it slide off. If yes, then use it, not as an attack, but as a mirror. Freedom lies here, when you can hear both praise and insult, and remain unchanged, when you act not to be seen, but because it is right, when your compass is internal, not external. Remember Epictetus's words, "If you seek to please others, you are their slave. If you seek to please yourself, you are free." Liberating yourself from validation is not about arrogance or isolation. It's about reclaiming authorship of your life. You become the judge of your progress, the witness of your effort, the source of your own worth. And when you stop begging the world to clap, you discover something astonishing. You already had the applause you needed, within. Number 4, stay true to your journey. There's a path only you can walk, a rhythm only your steps can create. But here's the danger. You live in a world that's constantly pulling, twisting, and reshaping you into someone else's story. You're told what success should look like, how fast you should move, what milestones you should hit. And without realizing it, you start measuring your life against someone else's script. But Stoicism teaches a radical truth. Your journey is yours alone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." That means the compass isn't out there, it's within. The moment you trade your inner compass for the world's applause, you lose yourself. Growth isn't about outpacing others. It's about becoming truer to yourself with every step. Progress looks different for everyone. For some, it's climbing mountains. For others, it's surviving the storm. Don't underestimate the quiet victories. Choosing patience when anger burns. Showing kindness when bitterness tempts. standing firm when compromise would be easier. Think of your journey as a river. Some days it flows fast, some days slow. Some bends look pointless until later you see how they shape the whole course. Comparison is like staring at another river and wondering why yours doesn't move the same way. It's madness. Your task is not to copy. It's to flow faithfully in your own direction. And yes, the journey will test you. Challenges are not detours, they are the path itself. Seneca said, "The good things of prosperity are to be wished, but the good things that belong to adversity are to be admired." Every struggle you face is a forge, shaping you in ways comfort never could. When you stumble, when you fall, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" That's how struggle transforms into strength. Self-reflection is the lantern you carry. Socrates reminded us, the unexamined life is not worth living. Pause often. Ask, am I walking with intention or drifting with the crowd? Am I chasing what matters or chasing shadows? Reflection is uncomfortable, but it keeps you aligned with your true direction. And here's a hard truth. Staying true means saying no. No to distractions. No to shallow praise. No to paths that glitter but don't align with your soul. Aristotle wrote, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. The more you know yourself, the clearer those no's become. And every no makes room for a deeper yes to your purpose, your values, your journey." Imagine your journey as climbing a mountain. Others may sprint, others may take different trails. Some may mock you from below. But the mountain doesn't care, and neither should you. Step by step, breath by breath, you climb. Not to prove them wrong, not to impress the crowd, but because the summit calls you. So here's the challenge. Stop looking sideways. Stop chasing applause. Stop shrinking when the road feels lonely. Great journeys are rarely crowded. The Stoics remind us, the opinion of others is noise. The opinion of your soul is truth. Stay true, stay patient, stay disciplined. Each step you take with honesty is victory. Each day you refuse to betray your path is greatness. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs you, unshaken, authentic, alive. Stay true to your journey, because in the end, that's the only journey worth taking. Number 5. Release attachment to results. We live in a world obsessed with results. Numbers, likes, promotions, recognition. You're told that your worth depends on the outcome, on whether you win or lose, succeed or fail. But here's the paradox. The more you cling to results, the more fragile your peace becomes. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control and others not." The outcome of your effort? Not in your control. The action you take, the discipline you apply, the integrity you uphold, that is yours. Results belong to chance, but the process belongs to you. Think of the archer. He sharpens his arrows, trains his hand, steadies his aim. But once the arrow leaves the bow, the wind decides its flight. To obsess over the target is to lose the lesson of the practice. The archer's true mastery lies not in hitting every mark, but in perfecting the discipline of the shot. Attachment to results breeds restlessness. You win, and it never feels enough. You lose, and it feels like the end. Either way, your mind is chained, but when you release attachment, you reclaim freedom. Success becomes a byproduct, not the master. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Results live in the future. Peace lives in the present. Why abandon the strength of now for the illusion of tomorrow? Challenges will tempt you to measure yourself by outcomes, a failed project, a missed opportunity, a rejection letter. But these are not verdicts on your worth. They are teachers. Seneca said, Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Each struggle is a forge, refining character beyond any scoreboard. So how do you practice release? By shifting your gaze from what happens to how you show up. Ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Did I give my best? Did I remain aligned with my values? If yes, then the result is already victory. Picture the ocean. Waves rise, crash, recede. You cannot control their rhythm, but you can learn to swim, to float, to ride with strength. Life is no different. Cling to the wave and you drown. Flow with it and you discover freedom. Releasing attachment doesn't mean apathy. It means devotion without desperation. It means effort without chains. It means playing the long game where character outlives every scoreboard. So today, loosen your grip. Work with focus, with honesty, with fire, but let go of the outcome. The result is not who you are. The result is not the end of the story. The true measure of your life is not the trophies you collect, but the strength you build in the process. Release attachment. Live free. Number 6. Radiate what you seek. We spend so much of our lives searching for respect, for love, for peace, for strength. We look outward as if the world owes us the very things we lack inside. But here's the hard truth. You can't demand from life what you don't embody yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What you radiate is what you attract. If you walk through life bitter, you'll meet bitterness. If you cultivate calm, you'll create calm around you. You're not just a receiver of energy. You are a transmitter. Think of fire. A flame does not beg for warmth. It generates it. If you want respect, live respectably. If you want love, give love freely. If you want peace, carry peace within you, even when storms rage outside. The mistake most of us make is waiting. Waiting for life to hand us kindness before we show kindness. Waiting for opportunity before we prepare. Waiting for fairness before we act with justice. But the Stoics remind us that power lies in action, not in waiting. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Challenges will test this. You'll face people who disrespect you, who mock your calm, who exploit your generosity. The easy path is to mirror them, to respond in kind. But if you do, you hand over your power. You let the world decide the person you become. Instead, flip the script. Be like the mountain that does not echo every shout hurled at it, but stands unmoved, offering silence as strength. Radiate steadiness and watch chaos lose its grip. Ask yourself daily, what do I seek? If it's strength, practice discipline in the small things. If it's peace, train yourself to pause before you react. If it's wisdom, embrace silence and reflection. The qualities you admire in others are already seeds within you. Your task is to water them until they grow. Imagine life as a mirror. It reflects not what you demand, but what you project. If your heart is restless, you'll see restlessness everywhere. If your heart is grounded, you'll notice clarity even in the storm. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Struggles are the friction. Your radiance is the polish. Radiating what you seek is not a one-time act. It's a daily practice. Each thought, each choice, each action is a brush stroke painting the image you project to the world. So, stop chasing endlessly. Stop begging life to give you what you refuse to give yourself. Be the source, be the flame, be the calm. Because in the end, the world doesn't give you what you demand. It reflects who you are. Number 7. Step into adversity. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, avoiding conflict, dodging challenges, shrinking from the unknown. But here's the paradox. The very things we avoid are often the gateways to our greatest growth. Adversity isn't the wall blocking your path. It is the path. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These aren't just words. They are a map. Struggles aren't accidents. They are invitations. Invitations to rise, to sharpen, to reveal the strength you didn't know you carried. Think of a blacksmith's forge. Steel does not become a sword by avoiding fire. It steps into it, enduring heat, pressure, and strike after strike, until it emerges unbreakable. The same is true of you. Every hardship is fire, and every fire has the power to shape you. Adversity doesn't ask for permission. It shows up as betrayal, failure, loss, uncertainty. But here's the secret. You always have a choice. You can run, curse, and collapse under its weight. Or you can step forward, meet it eye to eye, and say, "You will not break me. You will make me," Seneca reminded us. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Challenges are not punishment, they are training. Life is the gym of the soul. Each setback, each rejection, each trial adds muscle to your character. Pause and reflect. The moments you're proudest of are not the easy ones. They're the times you stumbled, suffered, and yet refused to surrender. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. It comes through sweat, scars, and resilience. Picture yourself standing in a storm. Wind slaps your face, rain blinds your vision, thunder roars overhead. Most people run for shelter. But the Stoic walks forward, not because the storm is easy, but because strength is forged only in storms. The storm is not your enemy, it is your teacher. The action is simple, but not easy. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this shaping in me?" Reframe pain as training. Reframe failure as feedback. Reframe adversity as the very tool that chisels your potential into reality. Life will test you again and again. But remember this, the obstacle is not here to destroy you. It's here to reveal you. Step into adversity, not with fear, but with resolve. Carry yourself like a warrior walking into the arena, knowing every scar will tell a story of strength. And when you do, you'll realize something profound. Adversity never really had power over you. Your response always did. Number 8. Redefine what winning means. From the time we're children, we're taught to chase victory. First place in the race, top marks in the class, the job, the car, the applause. But here's the hard truth. Most of what the world calls winning is just noise. Temporary trophies, fleeting approval, things that fade as quickly as they come. The Stoics asked a different question. Not, did I win? But did I live with virtue? Did I master myself? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Winning in this sense isn't about conquering others. It's about conquering yourself. Think about the people who appear to have everything, wealth, fame, recognition, yet live restless, anxious, and unsatisfied. Is that victory, or is it slavery to desires, to the endless scoreboard of comparison? Contrast that with the man who owns little but wakes each day calm, steady, and aligned with his values. Who truly wins? Picture life not as a race, but as a mountain climb. Society tells you winning means reaching the highest peak, faster than everyone else. But the Stoic climber sees it differently. The win is in each steady step, each breath taken with awareness, each choice not to quit when the path grows steep. Reaching the summit is not the victory. The discipline, courage, and wisdom built along the way are. Epictetus warned, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When you define winning as external achievement, you blind yourself. But when you redefine it as growth, progress, and self-mastery, Every setback becomes part of the prize. Struggle becomes your training ground. Failure becomes your teacher. So, what does this mean in practice? It means stop measuring your worth by applause, likes, or comparisons. Measure it by your consistency, your effort, your alignment with what matters. Did you keep your calm today? Did you show up for yourself? Did you choose discipline over impulse, wisdom over anger, progress over excuses? That is victory. The Stoics remind us, the only contest worth entering is the one within your soul. Compete not to beat others, but to be better than the version of yourself you left behind yesterday. Winning, redefined, is not the applause you collect, but the peace you protect. It's not about trophies on the shelf, but character carved in the heart. It's not about how loudly the world cheers for you, but how quietly your conscience approves of you. So, the next time you ask, "Am I winning?" don't look at the scoreboard. Look inward. If you're growing, if you're aligned, if you're at peace, you've already won. Number 9. Learn the power of boundaries. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every invitation is worth accepting. Not every opinion deserves your attention. This is the power of boundaries. The quiet strength of saying no when your soul whispers enough. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Boundaries are how we guard that power. Without them, life becomes a constant tug of war, people pulling at your time, your energy, your peace. And if you never draw the line, you'll wake up one day realizing your life belongs to everyone but you. Think of yourself as a fortress. A fortress doesn't open its gates to every traveler who knocks. It protects what's inside, its people, its treasures, its strength. That doesn't mean the fortress never welcomes anyone, but it chooses carefully. That's what boundaries do. They turn your yes into something sacred, not scattered. Seneca warned, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. Nothing is more shameful than letting it be wasted. Your time, your energy, your focus, these are your treasures. Spend them wisely." Of course, setting boundaries isn't easy. It feels uncomfortable to disappoint others, to decline requests, to walk away from toxic ties. But discomfort is a small price for freedom. Boundaries aren't walls to isolate you. They're doors you choose to open with intention. How do you practice them? Start with awareness. Notice the conversations, commitments, or habits that leave you drained. Ask yourself, does this align with who I want to be? If not, learn the strength of a gentle but firm no. Replace endless reacting with conscious choosing. Here's the paradox. The more you honor your boundaries, the more you actually have to give. A rested mind thinks clearer. A guarded heart loves deeper. A life aligned inspires others, not by pleasing them, but by showing them what true self-respect looks like. Remember this. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're self-preserving, and in preserving yourself, you protect the very best of what you can offer the world. So, draw your lines. Guard your fortress. Choose your yes wisely. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. Number 10. Give everything in the moment. Life is not lived in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's illusions. It's lived here, in this very breath. And yet most of us scatter ourselves across time, replaying what we can't undo, worrying about what hasn't even arrived. The Stoics remind us, the only ground we truly stand on is the present moment. To waste it is to waste life itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That wasn't just advice, it was a command for living fully. Because this moment, right now, is the battlefield where character is forged, choices are made, and growth is earned. If you hold back here, you hold back from life. Think of an athlete in the final seconds of a game. There's no room for hesitation, no thought of past mistakes, no fear of the outcome. There's only action, intensity, presence. That's what it means to give everything in the moment. Not half your heart, not distracted effort, but your full, undivided self. Of course, this is hard. The mind loves to drift, to cling to comfort, to chase distractions. That's why giving everything is an act of discipline. It requires awareness, asking yourself, am I here or am I elsewhere? It requires courage, daring to pour yourself into the task at hand, even when success isn't guaranteed. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasted time isn't always laziness. It's often the little ways we dilute our presence, scrolling while half listening, working while half dreaming, living while half awake. To give everything in the moment is to reclaim your life from this dilution. It means when you listen, you really listen. When you work with intention. When you love without reservation. And here's the paradox. The more you give yourself fully to this moment, the less you fear the future. Because the future is built from these moments stacked, one upon the other, like bricks of a fortress. So, ask yourself, if this were the only moment you had, how would you live it? Hold nothing back. Pour it all in. That's not just presence, that's power. Number 11. Challenge the impossible. Every great leap in human history began with someone staring at the impossible and refusing to back down. The Stoics would tell you the word impossible is not a wall, it's an invitation to test your strength, your patience, your character. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it impossible for anyone to accomplish." What feels impossible is often just attempted. The mountain looks taller when you're standing at the bottom. But one step up, and the view begins to change. To challenge the impossible is not about reckless ambition. It's about growth. It's about refusing to let fear dictate the size of your life. Think of life as a forge. Every obstacle is fire. Every struggle is hammer and anvil. Step into it, and you are reshaped, harder, stronger, sharper. Step away, and you remain untested. Yes, the impossible feels overwhelming. That's why you break it. Break it into actions, into micro-victories. A Stoic doesn't ask, "Can I do this entire thing?" But instead, "What can I do right now?" That's how great tasks are conquered, moment by moment, decision by decision. Seneca reminded us, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The struggle itself is the gift. The impossible trains you in resilience, in patience, in discipline. Even if you don't reach the peak, you climb higher than those who never tried. Picture a storm. Most people run from it, praying it passes. The Stoic walks into it, steady, grounded, testing his balance against the wind. Not because he loves the storm, but because he knows. Only through the storm does he discover his strength. So, ask yourself, what's your impossible? The dream you've been afraid to chase? The challenge you've been avoiding? The fear that's been steering your choices? Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for permission. Step toward it. The truth is, the impossible isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. And every time you confront it, you don't just move closer to the goal. You become someone new. Challenge the impossible, not because success is certain, but because growth is.